All right. Shalom Yashala. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Waha Rakakwadash Brakathum. I like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Akim pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Akwat out there listening. Now, what I have here on the screen, uh, the gentleman's name, I believe he's on MSNBC, right? I believe it's something that's catered to the left, liberals, MSNBC, I believe. But you got this back and forth of Dan Bongino and Bondi, like the speaker for Trump's, I believe the secretary or whatever she's over, and you're seeing the divide, like the apostles, bishops, and elders been going in through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, just showing the division. But guess what tops that and what brings us to that conclusion? Prophecy, man. Prophecy of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua. Okay? Because MAGA is really split, man. Elder Yashawamba has some great lessons, concerning that, because this man, I've never seen this, even though it's, bread and circus, type of thing going on, but you gotta spit out the bones and get what you can get. But you see the whole back and forth between Bongino and Bondi. I believe Bongino made reference to the speaker, hey, or the secretary, whatever she is. If she's not sent on her way, I'll step down. I'll resign. But I'm gonna let the excerpt of this clip play, and I'm gonna get some scriptures. Out of Washington, we are following what can truly be described as unusual breaking news. This is truly unusual breaking news. You know the breaking news animation. Sometimes the news is big, significant, serious. This one is unusual. A major escalation in what is increasingly a kind of political, quiet, peaceful civil war, but a civil war of political proportions for MAGA over these Epstein files. And it's roiling the Trump administration at quite literally the highest levels. Sources detailing the ongoing clash over a fight that could cost someone their job. Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi clashing with the FBI number 2 official Dan Bongino. As everybody who follows these kind of stories knows, technically the AG oversees the FBI, but if you remember Comey or other strong-willed FBI officials, when you're at that number 1, number 2 level, they sometimes fight with the DOJ. Sources say Bongino is so upset about all this, he's saying maybe he'll just leave, which would be a very quick tenure, by the way. And he would be leaving in a sort of protest or criticism of Bondi's handling of the Epstein files. Other outside agitators, including Tucker Carlson, saying she's lost confidence. Maybe she has to go. He was not at work today, reportedly. Sources also say Bondi and Bongino got into a heated clash Wednesday in a high-level meeting with him, her, FBI Director Patel, and Donald Trump's number 1 person who tracks all this stuff and makes the big staffing decisions, Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, who, of course, also ran the Victorious campaign. Axios has a report on this where Pam says her piece, Dan says his piece, didn't end on friendly terms. Bongino left angry. And you don't need to be a scholar of reporting or Watergate level intrigue to know somebody in this small meeting is leaking this stuff to Axios if it's true. A source close to Bongino saying he ain't coming back. Out of control furious is the other quote. This destroyed his career. He's threatening to quit and torch Pam unless she's fired, said someone who, again, according to that reporting, spoke with Bongino. By the way, hire podcasters and right-wing media figures to run major parts of the government, and you may find major parts of the government are being leaked on and run like another piece of podcast content. And see, it was also presented what? Salakia. It was also presented what? The conservatives, the right wing, right? They had it all together. Nah. This is the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua. And that definitely has to be stood, and it has to be understood, man. Okay, so everything that we're seeing, this is not on, it's not by accident. This is prophecy, okay? This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, this is Yahushua speaking to the Pharisees, you know, saying he was pretty much casting out demons by Beelzebub, which means what? Lord of the Flies, right? I'm going to continue reading. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Hey, America's looking terrible because look on the left too, right? Like people, Jake, who was longtime Democrats, they started switching over to the right wing, and then some Jake just left, politics alone altogether. Which through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, you're an Israelite. Hey, we have no stake in that. We have no stake in that, man. Our stake needs to be put into Yahweh Bashem Yahshua. But that, of course, that's the will of the Heavenly Father. So that's on the Most High. This is the Most High's program, right? Let me reread that again. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Verse 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Look at all those high profile people, man. And first and foremost, I did a lesson on this a month or so ago. It may have been a little further back because I said about a month or 2 months, when Trump and Elon split, right? They threw shots. Elon, if anything, Trump, he was kind of subtle. He didn't go too hard because, those who know, they know. If you know, you know. So the big controversy, as we can see, is what? Those Epstein files. And this is crumbling, bro. Because now, they saying there is nothing to really investigate. They're saying that Epstein's cause of death was suicide and not murder, and they've closed the case. Okay, because I believe the cat was from Britain, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they may have dropped charges against him because he was called out. He was basically called out for being a weirdo, a predator, to them Edomites on Epstein Island, right? So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I will Abaratazar follow up on that to make sure, but I believe I did see somewhere he was exonerated, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Bury me, Baba Kushah. So yeah, it's really just a shit show in America, man. You got people willing to, step down and not even deal with it, man. Which, hey, call Halal Yabashim Yasha, which is beautiful, man. Because this place has been through. It's only going to continue, for our sake. It's only going to continue to get better. And the reason I say that, because hey, that means we're getting closer to the kingdom, Akyam and Yuakwat out there. Okay, we're getting closer. So the more this place crumbles, the closer we are to the kingdom. Okay. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. Okay? The rich is who? The elect. Okay? The elect of Israelites. That the folly is that we see it is what? From Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, the FBI director. Then we know Dan Bongino is the number 2 guy, or what have you. Because what you have the Dan Bongino was DOJ, I believe. Okay, so you got Pam Bondi, you got the Attorney General, you got the FBI, and you got the DOJ, Department of Justice. You got everybody at odds with this. But it's lovely though. It's the will of the Heavenly Father. Okay, I might as well read verse 7. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Okay, and that's the elect walking as servants upon the earth. We went off against the Heavenly Father. There's simple as that. And I can't leave without getting this. I just, like I always say, I didn't even intend to get it, but it's always the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. This is Isaiah chapter 19, start at verse 1. And I'll read to verse 2. The burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Are we not seeing that right now? You got people who used to believe in the American dream. Man, a lot of people are just waving their white flag, man. A lot of people now just pondering, man. They know they just rather be in the spirit world. That's why you're seeing more. You're seeing more family suicides or just suicides within itself, and it's just judgment going out all around. Okay. Verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And this is, this is within the White House. This is within the Trump administration, on his watch, on his time, So this is all happening before the world to see. But it's prophecy, man. And we understand it here at GMS. Call hello, Yahweh Shem Yahshua for that. Okay. Let me read that part again. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Look at the orders that have been laid out there from Trump. But governors and mayors of cities and states, what have you, whatever. They're bucking up against orders. This place has no chance in hell going on another, man, Abaratazah. I don't see this place going on another 2 years. Abaratazah, another year. Abaratazah. It's a spirit we in hell another week, to be honest. I give it a week to 2 years. And Abaratazah, I'm going to stay in the spirit, and hey, everything may pop off tomorrow. It's the spirit we need to be in, But damn sure I don't see it going past 2 years, like y'all. Hard to see it going past a few months to a year, man. So all this is coming down the pipeline of prophecy, baby. So call hello, Yahweh Bashem Yahshua for that, okay? But Abaratazah, this is edifying for the body. So with that, once again, call hello, Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, Yahweh Bashem Yahshua. Waha Rakakodash Brakatham. Once again, I'd like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Akyam, pushing the truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Akwat that listening. Shalom.